Beyond Scared Straight is a popular reality show that was produced by Arnold Shapiro and aired on A&E that follows delinquent teens who seem destined for a lifetime of criminality and are placed in jails and forced to spend a day and sometimes even a night interacting with convicted prisoners, experiencing what their own lives will look like if they do not get their acts together. Although the show was incredibly popular, it also drew its own share of controversy, as many said that the theory behind the reform program was flawed and needlessly exposed the children to trauma. However, some of the most memorable characters were not the children, but the inmates themselves, who were tasked with leaving an impression on the aberrant teenagers. So today, here on Unexplained Mysteries, we will be looking into the interesting and sometimes downright scary stories behind 3 of the inmates who appeared on the show. Big Dragon. Rigoberto Rodriguez, better known as Big Dragon, is a memorable personality who appeared in Season 5 of Beyond Scared Straight. Convicted in a double homicide that occurred in 2010, the imposing man cut a terrifying figure as he spoke to the teens in handcuffs, a belly shackle and leg restraints, with correction officers leveling tasers at him throughout the entire encounter. However, he remained eerily calm as he talked about his experiences that led to him being incarcerated, which included a grisly double taking of life that resulted in charges of 2 counts of first-degree convictions of conspiracy, armed robbery, and tampering with evidence. The couple's lives that he took were reputedly narcotic dealers who had shorted Big Dragon in several deals. Tired of being shortchanged, Rodriguez decided to take matters into his own hands and instructed his girlfriend to arrange a deal with the couple, which would take place at their home. When the time of the deal arrived, Rodriguez's girlfriend remained in the car while he and an accomplice entered the home and brutally took the lives of the couple, shooting the man in the head and slashing the throat of the woman, and then robbing the home. Because of these 2 first-degree charges, Big Dragon is serving 2 life sentences, in addition to multiple years added on for the lesser crimes, which will ensure that he remains in prison for the rest of his life. He warned the kids against following in his path, directing his words at one teenager in particular who did not appear to be taking his warning seriously, saying, "I'll make you my bitch, fool. I'm going to be in here for the rest of my life. I am good with faces. I'll remember you, fool." Everyone gets their ass beat when they first come in. That's mandatory. Despite the horrific charges against him, it seems that he might regret the path that his life has taken, as he tells the kids to think about their choices and be sure to make good ones, insisting that it's not worth it. I chose that life. He shows an emotional side as he tells the teenagers, "All my little brothers have been locked up. When I see my brothers handcuffed like this, it makes me sad. It makes me want to cry, dog. Because I blame myself, because I could have showed them better." Regardless of his remorse, it is relieving that someone who is capable of committing such cold-blooded, horrific crimes is safely behind bars for the rest of his life. Dakota Joe. Dakota Joe, whose real name is Chad Ferguson, is one of the more memorable inmates on Beyond Scared Straight, simply because of how visibly disturbing he seems. From his comments in the show to his extensive and varied criminal history, it is clear that he enjoys the thrill of committing crimes and manipulating others, without thought for how they might be affected. He is a self-proclaimed popular guy in the prison, introducing himself by saying, "They call me Dakota Joe, and I am the coolest guy in jail. But those are bragging rights that you just don't want." Although he is friendly and jocular as he banters with the teens, he quickly turns serious and intimidating when he has enough of one of the teenagers' challenging manner as he tells Dakota Joe to see him when he gets out. Dakota begins detailing just a few of the horrible things that might happen to the boy if he ever went to prison, such as manpon, and reminding the young boy that he would not be able to handle time in jail. In the show, Dakota Joe is serving 1.5 to 3 years' time for violation of probation and driving while suspended, although his criminal history is much more extensive. He broke into and burglarized a high school on 3 separate occasions and was caught almost a month later after leading police on a 4-hour search of a local grocery store that resulted in him being apprehended hiding in the metal ventilation duct of the store. The search yielded the additional discovery of money and bank bags that were tied to 3 restaurant burglaries, resulting in charges of 6 counts of burglaries and 5 years of probation, with 94 days in jail. He racked up several other charges in the years following, including receiving stolen property, being with a minor in possession of alcohol, 3rd-degree domestic assault, and culminating with the probation violation that forced him into jail and resulted in his appearance on the show. He also admits on the show that he broke into a church to steal simply for the thrill, underlining the fact that, although he is not serving serious time, he is a criminal who should be given a wide berth. However, like many of the other inmates on the show, Dakota Joe also has words of advice for the young delinquents and counsels them to turn their lives around so that they can avoid the same path as him. Seemingly regretful, he reminds them that time incarcerated is no joking matter, and that he never wanted to be in this situation, ending with the words, "All I want now is to be free." Hopefully, he left an impression on the youngsters and convinced them to turn their lives around rather than live a life skirting the law as he has. Diablo. Although thinking of hardened criminals and scary inmates often brings to mind images of burly, muscular, and powerful men, one of the most intimidating and frightening appearances on Beyond Scared Straight was made by Diablo, the street name of a woman imprisoned in the Chowchilla facility. Although she does not delve very deeply into her backstory or the crimes that led to her imprisonment, she cuts a terrifying figure nonetheless and insinuates that she is a cold-blooded killer, chillingly stating, "I don't do drive-bys. I wanted to smoke you in person, to see you die." She references the meaning behind her name, Devil, and says that, "That's what all my homies call me, Baby Devil. I got set on fire at 2 years old, stabbed, drowned, beat repeatedly," and makes it clear that she is someone to take seriously. When one of the teenagers begins to irritate her, Diablo takes her around the corner where there are no cameras and tells her, "I want you to hit me. Let's get this over with." After which she hits the wall over the young girl's head in an effort to be intimidating that is clearly successful. Threatening, violent, and clearly dangerous, it is obvious that inside the walls of the prison, Diablo will take absolutely no disrespect or insult and will react quickly and violently to quell any perceived slight, a point that she drives home to her young visitors. One of the most memorable moments from Diablo's time on the show occurs when she confronts a young girl, Emily, who has been disrespecting and mistreating her mother. When Diablo learns of this behavior, she tells Emily to "hit me like you hit your mama," and promises her that if she doesn't straighten up and get her act together, Emily will have Diablo as both her mother and father, and promises that Emily will become Diablo's new roommate in the prison if she ever disrespects her mother again. As with the other inmates on the show, Diablo leaves the teenagers with something to consider after they leave their day in prison. She uses her energy and personality to attempt to get the kids to understand that they need to change their ways before they end up in the same situation as her. In a rare moment of emotion, Diablo actually tears up slightly as she talks about her young daughter who suffered from cancer at only 2 years old. She entreats a teenage girl present, whose mother is also an inmate at the Chowchilla prison, to "forgive your mother, be better than us," and then says that, "If I'm in here and I'm not giving up, how dare you have the audacity to be free and give up on life like that?" If the reactions of the teenagers are any indication, it is clear that Diablo's emotional words, not to mention her volatile and aggressive behaviors, have made a distinct impression on the teenage visitors. Although the purpose of the show was to bring delinquent teenagers into prisons and let the prisoners scare them into changing their ways and leading a life away from the jails, it is clear that the Inmates also left many lasting impressions on the audience of the show as well. Even though the show is no longer on air, Beyond Scared Straight provided an interesting and occasionally unnerving glimpse inside incarceration facilities and the sometimes downright scary inmates who are serving time within. But what do you make of these 3 inmate stories, and did they really have regret? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.